me get us live on Instagram once we start showing. All right, we live on Instagram. Welcome in, everyone. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Drop some ones in the chat. Happy Monday. Before you get all excited about a new week, I need to reset the room, y'all, because a new week doesn't mean anything if you're carrying the same mindset. Some of you started last week motivated and then you ended it overwhelmed. Some of you said, I'm going to do better and nothing changed. And if we're being honest, a lot of you are showing up today already tired. So before we go any further, I need y'all to listen differently tonight. Not to be entertained, not to compare your story, but to recognize where you are right now. Because the story that you're about to hear, y'all, is going to get deep. Tonight, we're talking about something that a lot of mothers do not speak enough about: fear. Feeling like they failed, not knowing if they're good enough, and still having to show up anyway. And I want y'all to pay attention to this part, because some of you feel like you're failing and nothing is actually wrong. Now imagine this: feeling like you're failing while also watching your child fight to live. This is deep, y'all. I'm already getting chills. So tonight, I'm bringing on a mother who had to face something that most people could never imagine: preeclampsia, premature birth, 89 days in the NICU, watching her child fight for his life, and still trying to figure out how to be a mom while she didn't even have an example herself. Whoo, I'm getting chills, y'all. But she did not break, she built. So y'all go ahead, drop the hearts in the chat, show some love. I want to welcome in Shakira. Thank you so much, Shakira, for joining us. You could go ahead and introduce yourself to all of the people that are watching tonight.
Well, first of all, Jasmine, thank you for having me. I'm so glad that you give me the opportunity, just to share my story because it's a lot of people that don't talk about preeclampsia. They don't talk about health in general when it comes to pregnancy. And I just wanted to be that voice, to let mothers know, like, it's okay that your body fail. It's okay that, hey, we all go through different challenges, but you don't have to just deal with that in silence. There are other moms out there that has been through it or been through even worse.
Definitely. And before we start, I want you to take a breath for a second. You do not have to rush this. You don't have to be perfect. Just kind of walk us through the way that you experienced it. When
Right.
you first heard the word preeclampsia, right? What went through your mind as a first time mom who thought that everything was normal?
Well, I mean, preeclampsia was just like, it was a foreign language to me because, for one, I had already gotten as far as 27 weeks. And, it never, high blood pressure or anything was never brought into the situation. We
Mm,
talked about glucose tests and doing things for like the sugar test and making sure I didn't have that, which I didn't have it. And then all of a sudden, one day, it started with a headache. I woke up, I had a really bad headache, and I kind of just went back to bed. I slept it off for a little while, and I got up, and I still had that same headache. And I'm telling my now husband, I'm like, hey, I think I need to go to the hospital because I don't really know what's going on. This is my first child, and like I said, I didn't have that example to kind of tell me, hey, this is what motherhood is like. This is what you need
mhm.
to expect as you're growing a child. And I went there and I walked in at 27 weeks, and a week later I came out a mom of a premature baby.
Wow. Whew. So, can you take us back to that moment in the NICU, looking at your baby fighting? What did that do for you emotionally?
Whew, emotionally, I didn't know whether I was going or coming
Mm,
because number one, I was a new mom. This is my first child. So I walked in pregnant, and when I left not pregnant. I was now a mom. I didn't leave like most people carrying a car seat and a child home. I had to leave what I brought into this world behind, which
Mm,
was something, you know, me personally, I don't think they should have done it that way. I think that I should have been allowed to stay there with him versus being sent home.
right.
Um, but it's something I had to face. I had to go home, and I just had to trust that everything that was going on there was going to be okay.
Mm,
So seeing him, laying in the incubator, 1 pound, 8 ounce, you know,
mm,
not moving, not crying, all types of tubes, CPAPs, feeding tubes, everything kind of hooked up on it. I'm not even gonna lie, I was scared to hold my child.
mm,
So the first time I seen him, the only thing I did was touch his hands. I didn't hold him. I didn't ask, can I hold him? Can I do kangaroo care? I didn't do anything. I just touched his hand because it was like, ooh, is it gonna be okay? Is he gonna be able to fight this? Because now he has to fight this. I can no longer fight this battle for him.
mm. That
It took
couldn't have
me
been
up.
easy.
Right. It took me about a week before I finally was like, okay, I want to hold my child because what if the worst happened?
Mm, that couldn't have been easy, Shakira. Oh my God. And one thing that I read that you said, you felt like you were a failure. What did that version of you believe about yourself in that moment?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say me in particular was a failure. I felt like my body failed me.
Mm,
Like, I just felt like, where did I go wrong? Did I eat the wrong things?
mm,
Did I not exercise enough? Did I not drink enough water? I just felt like my body failed me. And for a person who never had high blood pressure, who never was a diabetic, it was like, what's going on? Like, what shifted in my body now that I'm trying to bring life into this world? And even to this day, I still deal with high blood pressure. So it was something that sticked around. I didn't get
after.
rid of it. Yeah, I'm still dealing with it even to this day. But it just all caught me by surprise when I'm 27 weeks along. I'm thinking, hey, we're almost at the finish line. I'm gonna bring a healthy baby in this world,
Hmm.
and the words took a turn.
Wow. So you said that your son was in the NICU for 89 days.
Yep.
What kept you going during those days when it didn't look good or fear was, I mean, probably loud as I don't know what during that time?
Honestly, I would say my husband. That's what kind of kept me going because
Mm,
he kept saying you got to get up. He kept saying you got to pump this milk. He kept saying you got to do everything you got to do so that we can get our baby home.
whew,
And we was going down there every other day. So imagine living in Moss Corner and having to drive all the way to MUSC every other day, taking milk, being down there for 6, 7 hours. It's
mm,
even been times where we would been down there all day and come home, and it's like 9, 10 o'clock, and we doing that last call check-in to kind of like check on him,
mm-hmm.
and the nurses aren't answering the phone. So you know what we did? We got right back in the car
Drive
and
right
went
back.
right on back down there because we wanted to make sure that everything was okay. It's been nights where we sleeping in recliners and everything down there, and it was just it felt good to have that support system
Support.
because when everything was going on, I would say when you're pregnant, the people around you show you who's really rocking with you, who
Mm,
really cares for you, who's really going to be there for you for the long term, who's going to check on you, who's going to make sure that you eat. Pay attention to the people that you have around you when you're pregnant, because those are the ones that, really care about your well being. And when it all said and done, it seemed like it was just me and him facing it. I didn't have my mom. I didn't have like, background siblings and things coming to check on me and make sure things was okay with me. So it was like I really only had him to kind of like go through this and face this.
whew. I have chills, and I know that you're helping so many women on this live right now. When the doctors mentioned the blood transfusion, Walk us through that decision. How did you feel during that time? Both of you.
Well, with the blood transfusion, the first thing that came to mind was why not me? Because me and my son, we have the same blood type, so we're both
Mm-hmm.
O positive. So I'm like, why not me? My son was like maybe not even 2 weeks old when they said let's do a blood transfusion.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, why not me? Why do it on a day that I'm not there? And they were like, oh, it's gonna take a few hours. If you want to come later in the day, that's fine. But I was just like, not me. Why not take it from me?
Right.
But they ended up using someone else, and I'm happy that they went that route and they did what they saw best to do. Because literally, I tell you, after that blood transfusion, things started to look up. The sun started to peak just a little bit because
Mm.
he started moving his hands. He was able to kind of like move his body a little bit. And after that, he started doing all the things he needed to do. He started trying to breathe on his own like how he needed to. He started trying to eat like how he needed to. So the blood transfusion was really a blessing because had they not done that, I'm pretty sure it would have went another way.
Mm. Now, when you look at your son today, healthy, strong, what does he represent to you beyond just being your son?
Whew.
Mm.
Looking at him now, man, it just tells me that any fight that I think is too small or too big ain't really a fight. If he can fight at 1 pound, 8 ounce, be by herself in that little area other than where it's there. Like, ain't nothing too hard. Ain't nothing out here too hard to face. So I just want people to know that whenever you think that you're going through something, best believe there's somebody out there going through something way worse than you.
Mm.
And seeing him that way let me know that I'm stronger than I think I am.
Ooh.
Because not only was he going through it, but me as his mom and then his dad, we were going through it as well on a different level because we were dealing with so many, I would say, so many stages of grief because it was like, what if something happens to him? What if something doesn't happen to him? What if he comes home and now he's artistic? Or what if he comes home and now he's disabled and we have to take care of him for the rest of his life? It was just so many things going through my head as a new mom that I wish I had someone else other than him to kind of turn to because him being a man, it's like it's not. There's only so much you can tell him. But if you
Mm-hmm.
have another woman that's been through that, I wish I had someone else that was in my corner that I could turn to and be like, hey, what do I do if this happened? What do I do if that happened?
Right.
It got to a point and it was so bad that I was just reading. I was educating myself on articles. I was reading the computer. I was reading books. It's like I wanted to make sure that I succeed at this motherhood. Like I really wanted to make sure that when he came home, I knew what it took to raise a premature baby. I knew what it took to, get him where he is today.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And look how far look how far you've come from that. Because I remember, during the time I was seeing like social media posts and stuff, and man, you made it through that. Let me tell y'all something. I need every mother that's on here right now watching this to understand something because this is what strength looks like right here. Not perfect motherhood, but showing up, just showing up and doing what you have to do. You
Right,
mentioned something. You said that you didn't have the best example growing up.
right.
What did learning how to be a mother in real time look like for you?
Now, me saying I didn't have the best example, I wasn't saying that to bash anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be very clear on that. I wasn't saying that to bash anyone. I was just simply speaking from a place of hurt
Mm.
because, you know, my childhood wasn't what everybody else's childhood was. I had to grow up fast. I was the mom in my household. I had to take care of my brothers and my sisters. My brother and my sisters was calling me mom. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I didn't get to be a kid like every other kid got to be a kid. So when I got grown, it was like, okay, I was moving fast, I was doing things stupid, I just wasn't thinking about things. And then, finally I'm in my 20s and I'm like, okay, you got to slow down, baby girl, because this ain't what we know. This ain't what we're trying to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I literally had to do a 360, a real big evaluation on myself. Like, okay, what type of woman do I want to be? What type of wife do I want to be? What type of mother do I want to be? I had to do a 360 turn on what I really wanted for my life, or else I was going to be just like what I was brought into. And I can't fault her because at the beginning and the end of the day, she was trying to raise kids with a broken crown. You know what I'm saying? No one never helped her fix her crown. She never did the work that she needed to do as far. And I can't really fault her for the way she chose to raise her children. But I just know for myself, that was not an option for me. I didn't want to raise my kids out of any anger. I didn't want to raise my kids out of any hurt. I wanted my kids to just be loving. I wanted them not to see nothing bad. And
Mm.
I'm not perfect. I ain't saying I'm perfect. I feel like,
Right.
on this journey with motherhood, I feel like I've made some mistakes and there's some things I felt like I could do better. Like, with that first kid kind of, you make the mistakes with that first kid because, and
Mm-hmm.
all you can do is apologize to your child. Be like, I'm sorry, I could have done this better, I could have done that
Mm-hmm.
better. But by the time I got to my second kid, it was like, okay, I know what I don't want to do. I know what cycle I don't want to repeat. And it's better for me now. I love being a mom.
Mm. And that's so crazy that you went there because that's the next thing I was going to ask you because you said in your second pregnancy that you moved differently. You know, what did you do differently mentally and physically that changed your experience as well too?
Honestly, I think I stayed on my feet in my second pregnancy. I was a lot more active. I worked a lot longer
Mm-hmm.
on my second pregnancy. I walked. I changed the way I eat. I wasn't overindulging in cravings just because, hey, I'm pregnant and I can eat it.
Mm-hmm. Because
I
you
just did
know.
things. I just did things a whole lot differently in my second pregnancy. And honestly, it didn't go bad until I finally got to a point at work where I was like, I don't want to work anymore. I want to stay home. My feet was hurting, my back was hurting.
Mm-hmm.
I felt my body changing. I was like, okay, things are feeling a little differently. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to go home. And I was literally home maybe 3 weeks. And in that 3 weeks, everything kind of started shaking and changing, and I went right
Mm-hmm.
back into that pre-eclampsia role again. Only thing was different was I was much further because I had my daughter at 34 weeks and 5 days.
Okay.
So when I had her, she came out almost 4 pounds. Everything was breathing. She was doing everything pretty much on her own. The only thing she was a little slow with was eating. So they had like feeding tubes and things
Mm-hmm.
connected to her for that. But she did 2 weeks in the NICU and my baby was home. But out of that whole 2 weeks, I think I probably was down there every day.
Mm. That's amazing. And you did the work. You knew what your body was saying at that time. So you knew you needed to
Yeah,
let me pump the brakes, let me go and sit. So I
yeah,
also read something you said that you still question now, like, are you good enough? What do you tell
right.
yourself in those quiet moments when doubt tries to creep in? Because I see a woman you did the work right now.
Yeah. And those, I think I question myself, am I good enough? Because I still kind of deal with the relationship between me and my mom.
Mm,
Every child, no matter how old you get, no matter how young you are, you want that relationship with your parents. You
mm-hmm,
want that relationship with your mom. You want that relationship with your dad. You want all of that. And see, when the relationship broke down with me and my mom, all I had was my dad. And even though he was a wonderful dad, he couldn't teach me how to be a woman. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
He couldn't teach me what to do if my cycle was on. He couldn't teach me what keeping up my body was because he's a man. He don't know no better. He's gonna tell you wash off with some soap and figure it out.
mm-hmm.
you know. But
Yeah.
I think I was still dealing with the problem of the relationship between me and my mom, and I kind of let it transpire into my motherhood a little bit. But I knew I didn't want to be like her, and not saying it in a bad way. I just knew I didn't want what was done to me done to them. I didn't want them to have to grow up fast. I didn't want them to have to be the parent of the household, the mother of the household at such a young age. And it just takes doing the work. You really got to
Mhm.
reevaluate. If you want better, you definitely can have better. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't have better if you want better. If you want better for your kids, you definitely can have better for your kids. You might have had a hard life coming up, but just because you have a hard life coming up, do not mean those kids have to have a hard life coming up as well.
Y'all heard her because I was definitely going to ask you to leave just some encouraging advice too, because we've heard this story too many times. It's so common where kids they grew up before their time.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, I still want to ask you if you can leave just one piece of encouraging word to a mother right now whose story is just like yours, because we've seen it too many times. If you can just tell her something right now to pull her out.
Well, the first thing I would say is when it comes to pregnancy, don't be afraid to advocate for your body.
Mm,
Don't be afraid to say, hey, I think we should check this, or hey, I think we should check that. Because, like I said, preeclampsia was something I didn't hear about until I was 27 weeks, about to go to MUSC, about to have a baby at 27 weeks. So now that you've heard the word and you're pregnant, go to your doctor the next time and be like, hey, what happens if we run into an issue with preeclampsia? It's so many things that could have happened to prevent that had they had known about it ahead of time. You can do
mm,
steroid shots. You can, take certain medication just to keep that baby in your body a lot longer. The baby is so much better on the inside than they
mm,
are on the outside because watching it from the outside is horrible. I wish that on nobody. Watching your baby fight from the outside is like the worst feeling in the world.
mm,
But on the advice part, today may look bad, but the future don't look as bad as today.
whew. Shakira, when I tell you your story, I mean, it's so touching. I know for any mother, any person that's watching it right now, I know they felt it because I feel it over here. Before I let you go, I just want to say thank you because what you shared tonight, a lot of women are battling silently. They just never speak about it.
Yep.
And I honestly feel like you didn't just tell your story, you showed somebody that they're not feeling in this moment right now. We
Yep.
appreciate you. We are proud of you because you did the work. I mean, you gave us A through Z of what you did so that way your second pregnancy you were able to carry a lot longer for just
Yes.
educating yourself, and that's one thing that we have to do more as women, educate ourselves. So I just want to thank you for that. Y'all show Shakira some love in the comments because it's not easy getting on this platform and sharing the things that she did, just being transparent and vulnerable. So y'all show her some love. Shakira, before you leave, can you please let everybody that's on here watching know where they can find you at on social media?
On Facebook, you can find me at my name, Shakara Snyder High. And then I'm also on YouTube as well. I have a podcast on there called Women to Women Podcast. And then, and I'm on TikTok as well. It's called Life with the High Family. So definitely, just reach out. I am not one of those ones that's shy to talk. And if there's anything that I can do to help you, even if it's just words of encouragement, or even if you want to talk to me more in depth of preeclampsia and what you could do differently if you're in that situation, please don't hesitate to reach out.
This was so good. Thank you so, so much. Make sure you stay connected with the Mothers It's Your Turn movement because I know there are so many women. We have over 3,000 women that's in this movement right now. And I know that your story, your knowledge, the things that you have went through can help another mother. So please, please keep in contact with us. And we thank you so much. Y'all drop the hearts before Shakira leaves off. Have a great one.
Have a great one as well. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you
All right.
soon. Okay.
All right.
Whew, y'all. Shakira's story was just so touching. I mean, that woman did the work. She did the work, y'all. And before y'all leave, I need y'all to stay with me for a second because this is the part that determines if your week is going to actually change. You just listened to a mother who thought she was failing while her child was fighting to live. And some of you, you feel like you're failing and your situation doesn't even require half of her strength. And that's the real perspective, y'all. This is real life. And the problem isn't that you don't care, is that you don't have the structure that you need. Because listen, I'm going to be real with y'all. A lot of you have had motivated Mondays before. And by Wednesday, you're overwhelmed again. Motivation does not sustain you, structure does. Now, I want to slow this down for a second because I don't want you to just feel this and then leave here confused. What you just experienced tonight is exactly why I created the Mothers It's Your Turn movement, because there are too many mothers out here that are showing up for everybody, carrying things silently and trying to figure out life on their own. And having moments like this, but not actually changing after, we have to stop doing that. You have to follow through. So, mothers, let me tell y'all about the It's Your Turn movement. It's a 3-day reset where you're finally able to just pause, just stop for a second, process what you've been carrying, and start putting yourself back into your life. This is not just motivation. This is where you actually start to shift. Now, let's go ahead and be honest, because you've had moments where you said, I'm going to do better. I'm going to focus on me. And by midweek, you're back to the same cycle. We're not doing that anymore. So inside the Mothers It's Your Turn, there are levels to how you show up. VIP is for the mother that's tired of starting over. You don't want to wake up lost. You don't want to fall off by day 2, and you don't want to guess anymore. VIP is going to give you the daily calls, accountability, a step-by-step action plan, and the support that you actually need to follow through. Now, this is what's going to turn a 3-day challenge into a real change. And then there's platinum. Now, this is for the woman who just not only wants a reset, but she wants to rebuild her entire life mentally, financially, personally. You're going to get everything that's in the VIP, income building sessions, business and credit exposure, and real direction to moving forward. Now, this is where you're going to stop surviving and start building something real. So now, because I know this live has shaken some of you, the question isn't, what's the Mother It's Your Turn movement? What's the VIP? What's the platinum? The question is, am I going to show up the same way that I always do, or am I going to actually do something different this time? So here's what I need y'all to do. Everyone that's on here right now, join the challenge. If you need to start the challenge, it's free to join. I'm going to pour back into y'all. Go VIP if you're serious. Go platinum if you're ready to change your life. Go to mothersitsyourturn.com. The link is below in the comments. Don't overthink it. Don't disqualify yourself. Don't count yourself out. Just move. Make the decision. Now, I want to say something before we leave, because this live, y'all, this live was so heavy tonight. This is the part that actually matters, because the women who actually change their lives are the ones who stop waiting, start deciding. So before you click off, don't rush past this. Sit in this moment, because this is the part where you're either going to do what you have always done, or you're going to finally do something different. Y'all just sat here. You just listened. You felt this. Now, if we're being honest, this isn't your first time feeling this. So go ahead, click the link below. Go ahead and sign up for your free seat. Grab your VIP if you're serious. Grab your platinum if you're ready to change your life. Whew. Listen, y'all, don't leave here thinking that I'll come back to it, I'll think about it, I'll start later. Because I did not expect, y'all, we have over 3,000 mothers that are registered for this challenge. Too many women, too many mothers are carrying things silently, and that's exactly why Mothers It's Your Turn exists. Now, click the link below in the comments. Go ahead and secure your spot. You can choose your VIP if you're ready for the structure, so you don't fall off after day one, so you don't go back into the same patterns. Choose Platinum if you're ready to rebuild your entire life. Before y'all leave, I want everyone that's watching right now to drop "It's my turn" in the comments, because it is your turn. If you're done putting yourself last, drop "It's my turn" in the comments, because your kids do not need a perfect mother. They need a mother that's growing, a mother who's healing, and they also need a mother who's choosing herself. They need a mother that's choosing herself. And a version of you, the one that you've been questioning, she's not missing. I'm telling you, she's waiting for you to choose her. And tonight, I want y'all to finally make that decision. Y'all, I want to thank all of you for tuning in, because I created this Mothers It's Your Turn movement for mothers like Shakira. And y'all, go and show Shakira some love tonight. Drop the hearts on her page. Show her some love, because she really, really shared a lot tonight. And I want to thank all of you for joining, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same time, 7:30, all platforms, Facebook, TikTok.